Hello there. Welcome to the month of May. And here is your tarot reading for the month. Now, some of you might or might not know yet that I am on something called Patreon.com. And it's a sort of a fan site if you like my work, if you want to get extra goodies, like, for example, the extended version of this current reading, where I do 9 cards instead of just 3, then you might want to subscribe. There's also, for those of you interested in astrology courses or other intuition type classes, I do that all on Patreon. So I will have the link below where you can subscribe. So before we get going about May, the energy of May, well, you know, today is about 6 weeks that we've been in lockdown, and we're starting to come out. We're starting to see announcements city by city, country by country, of reintegration and reopening of business. And here in the Montreal area, it's going to happen slowly, but by next week. And it's a big experiment this month. That's the way I see this month. I feel it's going to be rock and roll and a bit of a roller coaster as we experiment. And none of us has ever lived this before, so nobody's going to get it perfect. But I feel that there's hope and there's optimism because we start to see measures where we can come back outside and we can hang our banners out and we can have more services available and have business come back. And hopefully we figure out how to manage public spaces and smaller gatherings so that we don't feel so isolated as we have been. So let's take a look at what the cards are going to say for this month of May. And I'm going to burn my sage first, as usual. I feel like it's really dark in here for some reason today. Maybe it's just being quarantined too long. All right, just imagine this beautiful sage smoke clearing and cleansing, purifying, banishing anything, negativity in and around you. And I'm going to do the cards, of course. All right, so we're going to start with 3 cards for this month. Oh, they're already wanting to... Okay. They're falling out without me even trying. Okay, so that was fast. That was a fast shuffle. Okay, that doesn't happen too often. I don't... Some readers do that. They wait for the ones that... The jumpers and the popper and the flippers, they might call them, where they just jump and flip out on their own. I usually shuffle and cut, and I don't worry about that, but this was quite telling. So here we go. Here's our 3 cards. All right, first card is the 9 of Pentacles, or the 9 of Discs. So this card, basically, as you'll see, says gain, gain. Other cards that might say wealth. If you look closer, you might see under the number 9 is a symbol for Venus. If you look closer, over the discs word, or gain, you see the symbol of Virgo, and you see all of these sort of coins, and the very earthy, down-to-earth colors radiating outwards from the center. And the center is interesting that it's pink and green and blue. It's sort of like heart chakra colors. And sometimes I even see like a face pop out of this card. If you look at the pink, as sort of a nose, you can see the 2 circles beside almost look like a cat or a dog, and then the coins look like eyes. And then you have this darker circle in the background. So Venus in Virgo is very perfectionistic, very exacting, very detail-oriented. They're going to be like an accountant, a forensic accountant. They like everything to be pure. That's the main word with Virgo. The virgin means belonging to no man. It doesn't mean never having sex before. It means belonging to no man, belonging to no one. Your soul and your body and your mind is sovereign. It is yours. It is sacred and it is free. And nobody owns it. And that's what Virgo or Virgin, the Virgin, really actually means. So Venus in Virgo wants to keep everything pure and clean and organized as much as it can. So you could be finding, you know, this card, Nine of Discs, usually is a good card for money. I'm sure a lot of us are not feeling that right now, though. So hopefully this is a sign of finances uplifting again in May. And it's also a signal for me when I see this card to get your budget in order. Get your, you know, get your papers done, your taxes done. Write down what you've got coming in and coming out. Keep your receipts. That's Venus in Virgo. You know where your money's going towards. Double check that you haven't signed up for like 10 memberships online that keep coming out of your account and you don't even have a clue where it's coming from, or if you've got a PayPal account or something else, or is Netflix double charging you, or like just stuff like that. Venus in Virgo, just go over all the details, all your finances, and it could also be details in terms of, you know, your community, people around you as well. It's an earthy card, and as we said, there's lots of, it seems like lots of lines and activity, which can mean, you know, from the center point radiating outwards, there are many streams of, could be income, could be support, could be people, networking. So if Venus in Virgo is applied to relationships, it's tougher because they're going to care about every little detail, every little fussy thing, every little mannerism, nitpicky kind of, you know, but you might need to be going over your life or your connections with a bit more diligence or a fine-tooth comb, just to make sure it's really in alignment with you still. So, good card to start off there. And it, like I said, it just jumped out of the deck. I didn't even cut it. Now, the next card, that's a happy card, the Ace of Wands. Look at that. Burst of fire, flame. Right? So, you can just see the centrifugal force of all these flames just spinning and churning upwards, and almost like lightning radiating the heat, the radiating your, broadcasting your desire, your passion, your will, maybe your anger, some people. And it's a very good card for our fire and our energy coming back, and to feel like a rebirth of the drive and the desire and the, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get that done. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to whatever it is you need to get done. So it's interesting to go from a very like orderly earth card, like, and then fire. I'm going for it. I'm doing it. So the fire could be so many things. I'm not even gonna go there with what that could be on a global level. We're talking about on a personal level. We'll see a surge of energy coming in May. Much needed. And our third card, very interesting too. Truce. The Four of Swords. Can you see it says truce? Can you see that at the top under the 4, it looks like another 4, but that's the sign of Jupiter. Down at the bottom, just above the word, above the truce, you might see a blue symbol for Libra. Jupiter in Libra is extremely artistic, talkative, networking, negotiating, sitting down and making things harmonious, making things fair and beautiful and diplomatic. And the card, you can see all of these zany lines, all of, you know, the blue and all these crazy lines all over the place. But somehow the 4 swords have managed to be protected, and they're glowing in this green. So again, you go sort of from blue and like a yellowy color, and it looks like electrostatic everywhere, which could just mean, wow, too many people talking, too much head noise, too many articles on the internet, too many experts, too much whatever it is. And then you get this beautiful Four of Swords surrounded in green, which is more coming from the heart. And they're glowing, and they meet in the center of a flower, of a white flower. So peace. So what we might see, if I look at all of them together then, Venus in Virgo, if we apply this to the pandemic, which I will right now, and then I'll bring it to personal level. Venus in Virgo would be coming up with the detailed, fussy, picky, perfect, careful, safe, healthy, pure plan. You know, we need Venus in Virgo as we reopen society to make sure everything has been thought of and put in the right category and done properly. Then, ba-boom, you know, looks like it's going to work. Looks like people are going to be back outside, and some people, you know, a chunk of people back in business, and a chunk of people feeling just so much better and being outside. And then we have this truce card, the Four of Swords, where, you know, there might be a need to sit back down at the table, of course, and revisit everything. And there'll be a lot of, you know, this is a card of negotiating and diplomacy and mediation. And it could be anything. It could be legal. It doesn't say anything nasty when it comes to these cards. But there could be stuff where they're drawing up new agreements, new laws, new procedures, new ways of doing things. Thing is, this Four of Swords is sort of a good sign of small gatherings being able to come back. And it's also a good sign of everybody sitting down and taking a secondary look at, you know, okay, so things seem to be going well. Do we need to be so overly cautious? Or are we on the right track? And now what else and who else needs to come back? Hopefully hair salons. You know, I will be continuing to work online until other services are given the okay, like the hair salons, like the bars and restaurants, because people come to see me across the table or lie down on a Reiki table. I'll be waiting until they get the go-ahead. Until then, I'm working online, and I'll stay online. Forever now, I'll stay online. But this can be a card then, just like I'm telling you, of negotiating how all of that social activity is going to come back online. But it does look very promising that it will. So this is a very overall optimistic reading for this month of May. I personally feel that we've turned a corner. I'm talking purely on an energetic level. In the last week or so, I've been feeling that there's a relief. And it doesn't mean that everything's perfectly out of the woods, but it means the fear lockdown feels finished. And now it's the big experiment of how's this all going to work, and at what speed, and with what consequences to a healthcare system. But I personally, I'm speaking about Canada, you know, where I live. I can't speak to other countries. I don't know enough about them. But here in Canada, I'm getting a very optimistic feeling for how it's all managed. And I hope for you, wherever you're listening from, that you also locally, you know, municipally, statewide or country, I really hope that you're also feeling optimistic that your leadership is guiding you gradually and safely back into a new world. And let's hope that we find some new ideas and enjoy ourselves in that new world. I'm going to just burn you a little more sage. just because I feel we all need it. All right, very lovely. So if you want to stick around for the extended reading, then you can subscribe to me on patreon.com. Just go to the link below and see what other goodies you get for subscribing. And I will continue with 9 cards.